Hey everyone, this is Mike from Custom Minis, and today I just wanted to run a small little experiment on the melting points of Custom Minis and Shapeways material using the ultra-fine material, GW's plastics, and some resin from Forge World. So we'll just see how this is going. I've turned the oven on and we've got it starting to cook up a little. You can see the flames down there, or maybe you can't, but they're definitely there. So we're just going to close this up and let it run for a couple minutes and see how hot it can get. Hey guys, looks like we're reaching right around 150 degrees, which should be about the max your car will ever get into. And everything right now appears to be doing okay. Resin seems to be holding up, plastic seems to be holding up, the ultrafine seems to be holding up so far. So I've got the oven set at 250 degrees at the moment, and we're just going to kind of let this keep going and see who starts to melt first. So in this extremely unscientific test, looks like we're right around 175 degrees or so. Everything still seems to be holding up pretty well. You can see a little bit of shimmer down at the bottom of the ultrafine material. The plastic seems to be doing okay so far, and so does the resin from Forge World, although it looks like the glue on it might be starting to give and it's starting to tilt a little, so we'll see how much longer that lasts. And the oven just kicked on again, so like I said, I have it set to 250 degrees, so I'll go ahead and close it up for a minute, let it get a little bit warmer, and see where things are at. Alright guys, so we're approaching about 200 degrees now. You can probably see the plastic base under the Custom Mini models. Actually, all of them have actually started to warp to fit the pan shape, which is pretty interesting. Looks like the one under the plastic has just melted and is now tipping the Space Marine forward a bit. It looks like all the rest of the materials are holding up so far. I'm not really seeing any warping in the resin. Not really seeing any warping in the Forge World resin yet. The Space Marine or the Custom Minis character. So we'll go ahead and let this sit for another minute or two and see what happens. Alright, so it's been another minute or so. We're at 200 degrees now. You can definitely see those bases giving way. The plastic Space Marine character's about to fall over. It actually looks like the base on the resin one cracked open and it's starting to melt a bit, and the Custom Minis character is still holding together okay so far. There's a slight glistening at the bottom where it looks like it might be starting to melt. So I got the oven set to 300 degrees now, and we'll close it for another minute or so and just see what happens. Alright guys, looks like we're right around 250 degrees. The Space Marine's fallen over. The Forge World stuff has fallen over. And the Custom Mini is still holding in there at the moment. Actually looks like the Space Marine's hand has melted into the foil a little. Yeah, definitely starting to look like it's melted into the foil. We've got a little bit of smoking coming from the Custom Minis model. I'm not sure if that's from the plastic base or the actual Custom Minis model. And looks like the Forge World one is starting to smoke too. So hopefully I don't start a fire anytime soon. That just wouldn't be fun for me. Definitely not fun for my wife, so we'll see what happens. Give it another couple minutes to sit here, and hopefully what we can see is some serious meltage of all the models. Alright, so we're back. Looks like we're at 325 degrees. Definitely some smoking coming from all three of the models at the moment. The Space Marine character, let me get a good look in here. Looks like his hands started to melt into the foil. His head is melting into the foil. The Forge World resin here seems to be holding up pretty well so far. Looks like that's probably a bit of the glue, but you can definitely see the heat's been warping it quite a bit. Bases are definitely been gone for a while, and they've now just become black puddles. And looks like the Custom Mini model is actually holding up pretty well. It's come off its base, looks like the glue gave out on it, but other than that, it seems to be doing okay so far. So every time I open the door, we drop quite a few degrees. So I'm gonna go ahead and close it again and give it a couple more minutes and see what happens. Alright guys, looks like we're about 375 on the temperature. As you can see, the Custom Minis model is holding up but smoking. This is actually quite awesome for the Space Marine model. He has melted about the front half of his body into the foil, and surprisingly the Forge World resin is still holding off pretty good. Looks like there's a couple char marks where the glue was, so that's probably the glue burning, not the resin at this moment. It's warped quite a bit so far, but you know, all you have to do is boil your model and it goes back the right way with a little bending and loving care. So definitely the Space Marine's a goner at this point. I'm not sure where you're gonna reach 400 or 350 degrees, but it's fun either way. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank this thing up to broiling and see what happens. Alright, so 460 degrees or so. Space Marine plastic completely gone. Yeah, that thing's a mess. The Forge World looks like it's pretty much burning out. Doesn't seem to be melting so much as actually just burning. It's warped a bit in the heat and everything, but it's definitely not the puddle that is the Space Marine. The Custom Minis model looks like it's doing okay, other than it's also burning. So definitely looks like it's holding up a bit better than, well, the Space Marine model. No big surprise there. Just a reminder, don't try this at home. I just burned my thumb just a second ago. The oven's extremely hot, so I'll probably let this go another 5 or so minutes and then pull them out so we can have some better light and see what the results are. Alright guys, here you can see it. We reached about 525 degrees. Definitely smoke coming off these models, so I'm going to go ahead and call it quits on these so I don't burn my house down. I'm sure my wife wouldn't be a big fan of that one. Okay, so looks like we've cooled down to about 400 degrees and it's still dropping, so that's nice. As you can see, the Custom Mini model, well, there we go. charred. Not really melted, but definitely charred. You can actually pick up quite a bit of the detail on it now. It's not pure white, so I might actually have to start using this technique to give it a nice fun look. Yeah, that was the plastic Space Marine model. Not much there anymore. Wish I could have gotten more melting while it was going. That might have to be another test sometime, but right now, yeah, that's a good amount of burnt melted plastic. And then over here, just to its right, we can see here what's left of the Forge World resin. Not a lot left. Looks like it burned and bubbled quite a bit, so there you have it. Definitely nothing scientific about this other than we took it up to almost 550 degrees and this is what we have left. Is this accurate or something that you'll run into often? Probably not, but it's definitely a fun little test and something that I'll probably start doing some more stress tests like this in the coming months or whatever, just to see what happens to different things. So there you have it. Thanks.